What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Third episode of the year. This is another solo episode, or solo, I guess, but it's my brother and I. So what's up?
What's up?
So again, with these episodes, they're shorter episodes, and we're just gonna cover one topic. So today's topic is a little bit more targeted towards me, I guess I would say. It's that transition from college to pro, trying to find that first contract. I'll let you take it. What, you have a question for me?
Okay, so what's your current situation right now?
I guess right now, yeah, I'm a free agent. I am going on some trials. So basically, got done with college season in November. Just graduated from UCI in December.
Yeah.
So now it's just going on trials, trying to get connected with as many people, coaches, agents
Yeah.
as I possibly can that can get me on a trial, get me looked at.
So did you have like any like another year to play college or like that?
Yeah, so I have another year of eligibility. That's the COVID year that I was given. It's just the issue is if I wanted to do another year of college, I would have to find a team or a school that's willing to pay for my master's, because ultimately there's no master's right now that I really like care for. Not enough for me to pay however much they're asking me. So it's like it depends on what you do, but I think the one that I was kind of looking into is more along the lines of like 50,000. So there's no real like master's degree that interests me that much for me to drop that much money on or take out a loan for that and be
Right.
in debt for that long.
Yeah,
You know,
so it's a lot of money.
yeah. So if I were to do another year, it would have to be with a school that's willing to cover all of it or a majority of it. The issue is there's not a lot of schools willing to do that, especially for a fifth year who, if I'm being completely honest, doesn't have like the best college like
Track
record. Yeah, you know. So right now I have an interest from a school, but they're D2 and they're a private school, so they have, I think, a little bit more funding to be able to do that. I think from my conversation with them is that that's depending on what I would want to
You want to study.
study. They would pay off either all of it or a good percentage of it. So that's an option, but I'm not really leaning towards that because if I'm being just completely transparent, I'm done with college soccer.
Just trying to go pro, huh?
Yeah, I'm just trying to, I'm trying
What
to
were the
play.
factors like your age? You don't want to do any more schoolwork, obviously. That's
Well, yeah. So of course, so if the older you get in soccer, the harder it is. So I think I'm at an age where I should start really, like, I need to get my foot in the door already. So that's definitely a factor. Just the studying and the actual school aspect of things, going to class and all that stuff is a factor that I'm just not.
you don't want to go through
I
that
don't
anymore.
care for anymore. I mean, I was lucky with UCI because it's a very possession-oriented team, which I enjoy. But that's not college soccer in general. So kind of looking forward to moving out of that style of play. Yeah, but I think the biggest factor is just like I want to start playing pro.
Yeah,
So,
of course. That's the
um,
goal.
yeah.
So like, what's the process of like getting trials and stuff? Have you ever like I don't know, have you been on trials?
So prior to this past month, I have never been on like an official trial before. But yeah, I think the process is just kind of like getting in contact with people. So right after college, I made a highlight video. I think that was really important for me,
Yeah,
just to get a highlight video done. I wrote up my CV, just kind of saying like all the teams I played for, how long I played for, and any important stats that I felt like should be incorporated. And then I sent it out to people who I thought could help me out, whether they know people or if whether they knew anybody that can help me. And yeah, I got an agent who helped me get an invite trial out in Fresno for Central Valley Fuego. So I went there. That was my first official trial. That was like an invite only trial. They were able to like house me in an apartment and stuff, which was cool. It was a cool experience. Fresno is not the best
Nicest
city
place.
to be in, but it was still like a cool experience. And then there's like these. I went to they're called P2PM, which is I want to say it's a company or an organization that like had their first pro trial or pro combine. And someone was able to connect me there, and
Well, that was the first one they've had.
that was their first one. Yeah, I think so. And it was a cool experience too. They treated it very professionally, and I've never spoken to any of them prior to me showing up, and they're really cool with me, very welcoming, and made me feel comfortable when I played. And yeah,
What kind of teams were there? Like the level?
a lot of they're all like lower level in terms of like I think like the they're like USL League One USL League One team, NISA teams, and then some European clubs, but they're like in the third, fourth division in there, and the lower league clubs. But I think realistically, that's probably where I'll end up landing, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I
to
don't.
start off.
I personally still think too that like the journey is so much better when you're rise to the top. Like if you just start from the top, you have nowhere else to go but down. So
Right.
I like the idea of going up, climbing up. So I don't mind it. And just realistically, I don't think I'm in any position to claim that I should start at the top,
Right.
So
Right.
I need to make my way up, and I know that. So yeah, so there are lower level teams, and then other trials kind of still in the talks. Once this goes out, I'm sure I've already gone on some more, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that just because I don't know for sure. But yeah, there's some other trials that people are helping me get connected with or get on, and then but they're all like the majority of the ones that I will be going on are all invite only. It's like I'm not paying for open trials,
Right. Right.
and I don't recommend anyone really doing that because it's ultimately it's a money grab for a lot of clubs.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So
And
yeah,
yeah.
um, yeah. But my experiences with the trials that I've been on so far, like it's crazy. I was speaking to Matt Sheldon from Become Elite,
Yeah.
recently too, and this is like the typical like this is always something that I've heard him talk about. Like, oh, it's the off season, like the typical off season where you're a free agent, you're looking for a club. This is like you're going on trials, you're speaking to different agents. These agents are trying to connect you with different clubs. Blah blah blah. It's such a process, right? And I've always heard him talk about it. Now
Experiencing
this
it.
is my first time actually in that
Yeah.
off season that he always described to me. So that was something that we laughed about recently. But yeah, it's a weird situation, but it's like a very exciting one, very difficult one, but a very exciting one because, and I've been telling my girlfriend this, and she hates it when I say it every time, but it's always like I never know where
Where you
I'm
have to
gonna
be.
be this next year, like in 2024. I never know where I don't know where I'm gonna be. I don't know if I'm gonna be in local. I could easily, not easily, but I can sign somewhere around here.
Mhm.
It can be in a different city, up north or whatever, San Diego, I have no idea. It can be in a different state, and it can be in a whole different country. I have no idea. So that's like kind of um, that's the exciting part about it is that you don't really know where you're gonna be, and that's kind of gonna be like that year by year. And I think it's cool. I think that's ultimately what this whole dream is about: is to get those new experiences, is to meet new people, live in different environments, different communities and stuff. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think yeah.
Have you gotten any like interest from any clubs since you've been on trial?
Um, Nothing like set in stone. No, I guess it's just more of like we'll talk soon. That's kind of like the general like
Would you be
feedback I've
okay?
gotten. So nothing. Again, I have no
It's
idea.
still pretty
Once
early, right? Because
yeah,
don't like, I mean, at least here in the U.S., start like in March, like leagues and stuff like
yeah.
that.
I know some clubs are starting their preseason pretty soon, but
Right.
um nothing too set. Yeah, but these trials are tricky. Like I again, this is like first time ever going on trials. They're tricky because you get all the ones that I've been on are just like you're playing an 11v11 game.
Right.
Um, but
I mean, that's how it is for the most part,
yeah,
because you can't obviously see everyone individually. You have
right,
to bring everyone out, see what they can do. And it sucks. It's only that time that they can see you. And if you don't perform that game,
yeah. And then there's so many factors that go into it that I'm like starting to like. I've always been a very, I would say, a selfless player, and
Mhm.
where I work a lot with the players around me. I like to play off of them and their strengths and incorporate my strengths into it as much as possible. But I work a lot around the players around me, and it's difficult to do that when you're on in a trial playing with players that you have no idea
Right.
how they play, and you also there's no chemistry, there's no relationship set, and but there's also like oftentimes, like, at least the trials I've been on, the level varies
Yeah, for sure.
significantly.
Especially if it's an open trial, because you can
Yeah,
just pay to go try out.
exactly. So there, I'm starting to learn now is that I got to be a little bit more selfish, especially in this, and
Mhm.
even the P2PM where I went,
Yeah,
like the guy even said, like at the end of it all, he's like, when you go on these trials, like he's like, you're there for yourself, you're not there for anybody else. So
for
like,
sure.
be selfish in moments that you
Yeah,
can be.
I mean,
Be
that's how
selfish.
everyone's like the
Yeah,
mentalities, if you think about it. They go in,
yeah,
they don't really know much about like, or they do know, but they don't,
right,
they're not trying to show, oh, I could play the team, but no, it's
yeah,
like I need to show
like
what I can do to help the team or something.
right, yeah. So it's of course there's a combination of it. If you're doing too much, then the
Yeah,
coach is gonna be
obviously.
like,
If you
"Where's this
just
guy
try to
doing?"
dribble
Yeah,
through, like it's not gonna work.
but you got to find those opportunities to be selfish. So like,
Yeah.
um, at least I'm not a winger, and I've never like really played winger.
Everyone's
But
putting you wing,
every
bro.
time I go to these trials, the first position they put me in is a left wing, and I'm like, okay, well then let me try to do something with it. So, but I always find myself like inverting and being like more central and letting the
I think
outside
that's
back
like,
go.
I mean, at least nowadays, the style of play is
Yeah,
they go inward, and then
the outside
the
backs go
outside
up.
backs go out wide.
Yeah, and but I'm trying to mix it up too, where like if I'm there, I need to get comfortable just driving at the outside back because that's never been a
Yeah.
strength of mine,
Yeah.
and I've always hesitated to do that, and it's always been like the obvious like just cut inside because I'm naturally just want to be in the middle.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to find that like it's gonna be like I'm not a winger, but it's clear that these coaches, these
Like
people who
that's how
see me,
everyone
they
see.
kind of see me as like playing that position. So I've been trying to get a little bit more accustomed to it, a little bit more used to it. And I spoke to Matt, which is really good advice that he gave me, him being an outside back.
Yeah.
I told him about this and he told me he's like the toughest, he's like the first thing you want to do when you're first 1v1 is do something that you're uncomfortable with. So if you're not the most comfortable with going down the line, go down the line and then try, hit it long and go. And then
Mhm.
maybe it doesn't work out. But the next time
He's gonna think you do.
he's gonna think you're gonna do that again, and now you cut in and you go into what
Yeah.
you feel most
That's
comfortable
great
with,
advice.
and he's like, it just kind of makes it trickier for the
It makes him
outside
think.
back. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I was like, that's perfect. Like that's like because I just first one is cut inside,
Yeah, just try
second
to
one
go.
cut inside. It's like
Mhm.
cut in or play inside, then they play slip me in behind, like that kind of thing. I need to find that like just drive at the outside back. So been working on that a little bit, um, and feeling a little bit more comfortable with it. I think by the time this episode comes out, I think the episode with or the video I filmed with Matt
It should be
would
out.
have come out. So you see the 1v1s I did against him and Andrew. There was I was actually impressed with myself because I felt very comfortable with 1v1s, and I'm not like the most 1v1 type of player,
Yeah.
but I felt good in those. Um, but yeah, so it's tricky. It's trying to find that good balance between being selfish and then being a little bit more and then playing as like as a team and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still getting a little bit more comfortable with the trials, but it's an interesting one. And I guess the advice I would give to players going into trials is to try to feel as comfortable as possible as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I think I find myself leading up to the second half is when I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. But that big first portion of the first half is like it could determine whether you're gonna get signed or not.
Right.
Like if the coach sees like you know like so yeah, so it's like getting as comfortable as you possibly can leading up to the 11v11 or whatever that is. So in the warm up, get comfortable, talk to everybody, be loud, like or whatever kind of player you are, like try to embrace that as much as possible in the warm up so that when it comes to the game, um, you're good. And also another advice would be to get on the ball.
Yeah. Of course.
I realized that um there's like it was like me reflecting off of one game that I played. I'm like, oh, after the first half, I'm like, dude, I'm not like I only got the ball like a handful of times.
Hmm.
Like I need to be on the ball like almost every play, just so like I can really show myself. And like, yeah, I'm gonna make mistakes, but out of all these mistakes or whatever, like I have like these good moments, and so I need to get on the ball. That's ultimately how someone's gonna really view you. So that second half, I like made it a point to be on the ball as much as possible. And of course, it's not like being like dramatic and drifting places you shouldn't
Right.
be,
Yeah.
but it's like whether that's defensively, like if your team is not having the ball, like defend your ass off and try to get on that ball and win the ball back. Um, Offensively, like again, if you're playing on the wing, try to like yell for the ball, like get on that ball,
Hmm.
like as much as you possibly can. Cause yeah, I found myself like our team was dominating, but I wasn't getting the ball as much. And it's like, what's the point of that? No one, you're there to be looked at. If you're not on the
Right.
ball,
Right.
you're not gonna be looked at.
Right.
So yeah, I think the two pieces of advice I would give anybody going on trials is to establish that comfortability as much as possible, and get on the ball as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's how you ultimately have the best chance of
So
getting signed.
it's tough for like players who, like, for example, you're saying that they're putting you
Out of
in a
position.
position that,
Yeah.
like, what would you tell players to like?
Get
Uh,
comfortable with it.
yeah.
Try your best at it, or like, and also like speak to whoever is running it. Like, I mentioned to one of the coaches there that was like that runs it. I was like, hey, like, is there any chance that I can play in the middle, like either as a 10 or the 9, because that's what I typically play. And he's like, oh, he's like, you're not a winger. I was like, no. He's like, okay. And then the second half, he put me there, and was on the ball a lot more and a lot. So if you're out of position, like okay, like that's gonna happen, but try to see if you can just but don't make it seem like I can't play this position. Just be like, hey,
Right.
like
Right.
I can play this position as well, and this is what I'm more comfortable with. If you can put me there at any point, so really speak about it. Don't just let yourself. But yeah, um, you gotta try to do what you can, and I think that's what's um developing or like growing up. Like it's for young players is to really understand multiple positions, because ultimately when you're on a team, it's like you want to be on the field. So it's
Mhm.
wherever the coach kind of sees you fit, that's kind of you need to be okay with it. So
Yeah.
I think that was something that I should have done more growing up. I was too hard headed on being the 9,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So you're 23 years old, right? Traveling out here in the U.S. What do you think teams in the U.S. look for, like, in terms of like the type of players, like age group, or because you know how you've told me before, like they only sign like 1 year contracts
yeah,
to, and the whole point of the season is to obviously try to win it,
right,
the best of the best that they can. They think
yeah. So
they'll.
yeah, I think that's the tricky part is that oftentimes when you're these USL teams, like these lower league teams, um they're at a higher risk. Like the coaches are at a higher risk of
Getting
getting
fired.
sacked.
Mhm.
So especially if it's a team that's like ended bottom of the table one season, the next season they need to be higher up the table. So there's a little bit more pressure on the coach to bring in those players who will actually perform and get them there. So at least thinking as a coach, it's kind of logical. It's pretty obvious that you're gonna go with the more experienced players
Yeah.
to kind of get you back on track. So for me, I think that's like the trickiest thing is that finding, and I think it's for all players who are free agents right now, is finding that team that needs you. So or that team that you can fit in the best. So like you could fit the coach's style as best as possible, but if they already have players
Yes.
in your position already filled, there's no need for you.
Yeah.
So the stars have to align a little bit, but I think in these lower level
That's so
teams,
true.
I think um, I think coaches are now just kind of looking for players they can highly rely on. So as a striker, where are you going to take this forward who came out of college soccer with not that many goals, or are you going to take this guy who's already like maybe in his 30s, let's say, but he ended last season with 20 something goals in a pro league.
Right.
You're going to take that guy. You're not going to invest, especially if the team was on a lower on
Lower
ended
league.
no, they ended on the bottom of the
Oh,
table.
right. Right. Right.
They're gonna want that. They're not gonna maybe invest so much on a younger player to
Yeah. Gamble on.
yeah, right.
See if he'll do anything.
But then of course if there's those teams that like have a little bit more of that um I would say leeway to bring in a player like that they can really work and develop for future
Yeah.
seasons.
'Cause yeah, I mean, for those type of teams, it's like it's a business. So
Yeah,
if you see this potential in a kid, or
you can sell them.
you sell him,
Yeah,
sell him Europe or wherever.
yeah. No, yeah. There's that, and then there's like the MLS Next Pro. You're
Right.
gonna get young players because that league
Yeah,
is
of
meant for
course, because
young players. Yeah,
that's in development
yeah.
basically.
So yeah, so that's like um yeah. So that's the thing. It's tricky. I'm learning a lot more of how it works, how the business of soccer works as I'm going through it. It's interesting. It's exciting. I don't know. It's weird, but
Yeah.
it's cool because then I again for future without a doubt I want to work with younger players and help them get to whatever position they want to. So now that I'm experiencing all this,
Yeah.
it gives me a good like
Good idea.
a good foundation for me to help
Right, right,
future
right.
players. But for you, really quickly, and I think we can wrap it up after this. Um, you're on the other side of it because
Yeah.
right now you just got hired to coach the U17s at Zeta,
Mhm.
but Zeta now is going to be or is a NISA team, so the third division here in the U.S.
Right.
You're not coaching on the first team, but you are part of it, and you recently were a part of their
The open tryout.
open tryouts for the NISA team.
Yeah.
You were there. You worked with OPSM, which is a really
Agency.
it's a highly established agency. You worked with Matt. Matt was there.
That was
You
there.
worked with P2PM was there?
No, 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 I
No.
wasn't there. It was
Oh, the
soccer visa.
soccer visa was there.
Soccer visa. Someone else that works with
Okay. So it's guys who've been in the game for a while.
yeah.
So you worked directly
There's
with them. How was that?
It was cool, man. I mean, they're really just trying to push me to express myself as a coach.
Yeah.
They gave me what's the word, like an
Advice.
opportunity to, like, express my coaching, and
Uh-huh.
giving me advice on the side, letting me know, like, kind of secure yourself out there. But once I did, like, get more comfortable, and I was helping them, and speaking up,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, there's your coaching voice and stuff.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
soccer visa guy, especially,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't get his name, but yeah, they're all cool, and
Yeah.
you could tell that they're treating it as professional as possible, and that they want to help players. I mean, it's cool how, like, that guy has his own his own, like, soccer. I don't even know what you call it. Soccer visa thing. It's like
They have a pro team,
yeah,
Costa
pro
Rica.
team. So he's able to recruit if he needed,
Mm-hmm.
and also the agency was there, so I got to see, like, what they were looking for, asking them questions about, like, um, who stands out, and what they look for in a player and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was a great experience. I learned a lot, and now I'm gonna run another open tryout for the second team that the team has for under Nisa Nation,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna work with that P2 team
PM.
guy. So yeah, it's cool. It's a great experience, and
Yeah, so it's interesting because now you're on like the other side of what I'm doing, which I think is also a good like
oh, for sure, no,
experience for these like kids
right.
that we're gonna help out in the future. Because now we get two sides to it, where you're working directly with the recruiting aspect of it for these teams, and I'm on the
It's honestly, dude,
trials.
this is something that, like, I've always wanted to do, is recruit, and being able to get the players that I feel like have the potential to do it, and then get them in that position. So
Mhm.
now that I have this opportunity to work with a professional team and able to do that, whether it's with, like, the 17s, or getting them to try out for the olders, um, yeah, it's better. It's like I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah,
So it's cool, and I'm grateful for it, and
yeah,
I'm sure down the line, once we're able to help players in the positions that we were in,
Mhm.
and getting them to the and seeing them succeed, I think that's when, like, everything's gonna pay off, and it's gonna be like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
dude, it's crazy. But yeah.
yeah. Do you have any other questions or
No,
no?
that's
Okay,
good.
I think
And
that
so,
was.
I'm sure this is gonna be a very helpful episode for guys who are still in trial, because it's gonna be January. So
Mhm. Guys who are on trial, guys who are doing their last season at college,
right,
stuff like that. Thanks for watching. Again, we're gonna come out with more of these type of episodes where we just talk about one topic and make them a little bit shorter of an episode. And yeah, like, share, comment, anything, comment anything positive, any positive feedback, negative feedback, we'll take it all. Um, but yeah, follow us on Instagram at without a doubt _ athletics.